Scary time. Scary story time. Time for the scary stories. Scary, scary, cold, all scary, scary. Now it's nighttime. It is 8:28 as you can see. As you can see. Nighttime, and it's scary in my room. My closet's open. You never leave any doors open. It's scary. Let's just get right into it. I'm boring you with a. Let's go. I almost got kidnapped by a weird guy.
It was wintertime,
Winter.
and Christmas was approaching.
Hell yeah.
I was 25 years old, and I was
Moik.
going to meet up with some of my friends who lived on the other side of the
Named
city.
Moik.
It was a 4-hour drive from my place, so I decided to take my own car instead of a local cab.
Isn't it
It
cheaper?
was my first time going alone on such a long drive, and I felt nervous, but excited. At midday, I packed my bags, threw them in the trunk, and went off to meet my friends. It was a cold day, but
Cold.
the roads were clear. I didn't see much traffic as it was the holidays, and people would rather spend time with their families and friends indoors and stay off the roads. Now, I'm not the type of person to go straight to my friend's house. I like to take my time.
Where else do you have to go, huh?
I'm a social media freak, and I enjoy posting pictures pretty much all the time.
All
So
the
I
time.
found the journey an excellent excuse to post some extra pictures.
What? Wait a second, Mr.
Post
Instagram
some
model.
extra pictures.
That is not a normal picture anybody takes, like with black around their eyes. That's like I just stole a kid and put it in my basement kind of picture. Okay? I ain't taking that. Okay, I'm just gonna let it play.
The road I was taking had beautiful scenery, and the place where my friends lived was even more magical. I stopped a lot during my ride to take pictures. I was having a great time by myself. Well, that was until the weather suddenly changed. It was around 6 p.m., and I was still driving. I still had a long way ahead of me.
6 p.m.
And
Why the
that's
fuck is
when
it
started to
dark and
snow.
fuck?
Not just a dusting of snow.
Why is it so
It
dark
was
at 6
thick and
p.m.?
heavy.
At 6
After
fuck.
15 minutes or so,
Why is it
the
so
roads
dark
were
at 6
already
p.m.?
covered
That
with
doesn't
a
make
few feet of
sense.
snow.
Damn.
I felt anxious since it was getting dark and I wasn't even halfway through the drive.
What?
My car slowed down, and I had to force it to run on the empty roads. The heavy snow didn't stop. I decided that I would stop at the closest gas station I could find, but unfortunately, I couldn't find one for a while. An hour later, I finally saw some lights shining from the distance. It was a gas station.
That is not a
I
gas
pressed the
station.
accelerator, rushed to the station,
That
parked
is
my
not a
car, and
gas
went inside
station. What kind
quickly.
of gas station is it? It's
Just
like a
as I entered, a strong
like a shed
snowstorm
with a
started.
gas. Someone stole a
The gas
gasoline
station
tank.
had a little shop tucked away with some chairs to sit on. The guy at the
Why?
counter was an ordinary fellow. He didn't really talk much.
How
He
would you
only
know?
asked me where I was going in such harsh weather. After that, I bought some chips and drinks and sat down in the furthest chair from him. It was night now. I sat, munched on my food, and scrolled through an
Nom
Instagram.
nom nom. Nom
Then,
nom.
suddenly, the shop's door opened. I looked up, and a very weird-looking man entered. He had long, greasy hair, was wearing a long coat, and had a very grim expression. I saw him buy some cigarettes,
Maybe he
and he
just
sat down a few chairs away
got
from
out
me.
of work.
He didn't look at me at all. At first, I
Maybe.
ignored him, but then he started smoking.
Oh, that good shit.
shop was small and the
Hey,
smoke-
hey, bro, you wanna pass that around, bro? You gonna make me act up, bro? Give me some of that dough, bro. My man get high
Filled the air
without
quickly.
me.
The shopkeeper told him to stop, but he didn't listen. He couldn't ask him to leave because of the storm,
Sir, we need to stop smoking because we're all getting hella high in here.
so
Hella
he
high.
didn't say anything else. I, on the other
Put in
hand,
like a
hated
Christmas
cigarettes.
tree. Oh,
The weird guy was looking down, breathing very heavily as he smoked. It was as if he was breathing in my ears. So when he took out his fifth cigarette, I lost my temper and
Fifth?
angrily told him to stop. He looked at me
oh
for a
God.
couple of minutes.
Maybe that is weed. Look at him.
His big eyes were red with anger.
Fucking.
But then he smiled and stopped smoking. His smile was unnerving.
Yeah, that's a smile. I
sat
want to
down
touch your
again and
cock.
distracted myself on my phone. Shortly afterwards, my friend called me, asking why I hadn't reached their place yet. And I told him the whole story, and he said the storm would soon be over, and I shouldn't worry. When I hung up, I noticed the weird guy staring at my phone with deep
He
interest.
really wants that double ding
I
slong.
was afraid that he was thinking of stealing it. But to my relief, after some time, he got up to leave. At the door, he stopped, looked back, and screamed loudly before running away, scaring the crap out of me and the shopkeeper. He didn't return after that. At 10:30 p.m., the storm ended, and I immediately left after thanking the shopkeeper. I went into my car, started it, and drove off. For some time, I drove in silence, but then I heard a noise. It sounded like heavy breathing. My heart rate shot up and my
Bro,
hands
my
got
man
all sweaty
in your
as the
car.
breathing sounded so familiar and so close. I looked through my rearview mirror and screamed. The weird guy from the shop was sitting in my back seat,
Oh, bop
smiling
it.
at me.
I
I
need
pressed the brakes
cigarettes.
very hard, got out of the car, and started running.
Why?
I felt him running after me too.
Why don't you have a
yelling
gun
at
in
the
your
top
car?
of his lungs.
Oh,
The
no,
road
here's a
was
knife. Fuck
empty,
that.
and I felt hopeless as I knew he was faster than me. I only looked back once to see him running like an unnatural being and holding a knife in his hand. I
He been in a
increased my
lit
pace,
Nix.
still wondering how on earth he got inside my car.
You come
I might have
here,
forgotten to lock
boy.
the door when I first left to go to the gas station.
Dummy.
But now, it was too late for regret. My life was at risk because some psychopath was after me. Then I saw some
Right.
headlights at a distance. I started waving my hands like a maniac, screaming for them to stop.
Wait, mate.
They did, and it turned out to be my friend.
Oh, thank
He had
God.
come to pick me up as he was worried since I was pretty late and thought something went wrong. I looked back, and I saw that guy was gone. I got inside my friend's car and told him everything. He called the cops, and they arrived shortly after. We all went to my car first and noticed some marks made by a knife in the back seat.
Bro, that's
The
gonna
cops
be
couldn't find the guy
expensive.
anywhere. After some investigation, they let us leave. I drove my car, and my friend drove his car back to his place. The cops never found the guy, and to this day, I still wonder what would have happened if my friend didn't turn up that
You
night.
would have gotten sliced, diced, cut a hole in that ice.
I was 12 years old when this happened. My grandmother just got home from the hospital because she had a stroke. She couldn't go up to the second floor of our house, in which her room was located. So my uncle, my little brother, and I decided that we were going to sleep in her room for a while.
Why?
Before this day
Weird.
happened, my
Ow.
aunt bought a new air conditioner, so the old
Hell
one would
yeah.
be removed. And of course, there was a hole in the wall for the air conditioner.
Crank that
I
motherfucker
covered the
up.
hole with some kind of small box before working on the wall, so the air wouldn't come in. Anyway, back to the situation. My uncle and I were playing a mobile game at 3 a.m. when this happened.
Right.
We played for about an hour or so until my little brother had fallen asleep. While I was paying attention, I suddenly heard a small scratching sound coming from the hole on the wall where I covered it with a box.
Probably a rat.
Its sound was like someone trying to remove it with something. However, I just ignored it at first,
Meow, bitch.
because I thought it might be a cat trying to
Let
remove
me
the cover.
in, meow, bitch.
After 5 minutes, my uncle heard the sound, and he whispered in my ear, saying, "Did you hear that sound?" I said, "Yeah, I heard it too. But maybe it's just a cat. Forget about it."
Cat
After
likes
that, we had
boxes.
forgotten about
That's
the
for
sound,
sure.
and we just played again. Until that moment. All of a sudden, my uncle quickly put down his cell phone and started to search with the flashlight. "What's wrong?" I asked him, but he pointed his finger on his mouth and pointed it to the window. It was quiet outside.
So,
"That's weird.
it's supposed to be
I
quiet,
heard
you know
someone's
that?
footsteps." He talked to me sitting back next to me. I tried to say that it's nothing, but this time I heard those footsteps. Someone was outside walking around with a creaking sound. So we eventually decided to look for it, opening the box cover. But before we could get closer, my little brother began to scream. We were shocked by that, but then we just laughed, thinking our reaction was silly.
Shut up.
I talked to my little brother and asked
Wait.
him what happened. He said that he had a nightmare. We laughed again, much bigger this time. Bump! We abruptly froze when we heard loud footsteps from a roof away from us. My heart dropped.
Bro, it's just Santa.
What was it? my
Santa.
uncle said with an anxious voice. We then stayed away from the wall and started panicking.
Made it out of clay. That's the
I
wrong
started
song.
to think that it might be a thief who was trying to enter our house.
Yeah,
What if he
thief.
would try to kill us? How are we going to stop him?
Saw
What should I
pox
do?
on the wall. He's like, yeah,
However,
we'll go
despite
rob
all
this
my
house.
worries, nothing happened after that. There were no footsteps anymore, but my uncle and I had to stay up until the next morning, shivering together. A few days later, my grandpa covered the wall with cement. And that day, we were watching the local news, and we heard that one of our neighbors, who lived right next to us, had been murdered.
Damn.
They also reported that the suspect has not been found, so the cops were struggling to arrest him.
No shit.
We just couldn't believe the news. We just watched the news with our mouth open. That moment became the worst nightmare of my whole life. What if I dared to try to remove that small box to see outside on
He
that
would
day?
poke you with a knife. Chun knife. Oh, it's a heart and a dick hole.
For this story, my name will be Charlie.
Ooh, I like this man's
Years
voice.
ago, my first year of college, I lived in a dorm. But if only I knew what was going to happen. I earned a scholarship to college for baseball, and all the players lived in one dorm. Being that I was a freshman, they roomed me with a senior so he could show me what right looks like.
Right.
He was a pretty tough guy who no one would mess with, so I felt like I was in good hands.
Damn right.
It was the winter, and by that time of the school
Straight.
year, I was pretty set in my ways and comfortable. I was invited to a house party that one of the sororities were throwing, so I went with a few friends.
Gonna get clunked,
When we
drunk,
got
and
there, it was
punked.
like any other party. People were outside, and some were inside having fun. While inside, there was music playing.
That man was doing the move like Jagger.
In one room, and it looked like a board game going on in the other.
They're playing
was
some
upstairs.
Monopoly.
After a while, I went upstairs to see why anyone would be playing a board game at a party. When I
Monopoly,
got to the
brother.
room, I noticed that it was the most quiet room in the house, which was odd to me. When I walked in the room, there were 4 girls and a guy sitting at a table. I asked what was going on, and they said they were using the Ouija board.
What?
I thought it sounded interesting, so I joined. But I never really believed in that type of stuff. While we were messing with the board, they said that there was a girl in the room. But I think that one of the other people that were playing moved it, so I left. That's when unexplainable stuff would happen to me in my dorm. I'd hear laughing in our hallways at odd times of the night.
That's not laughing.
Knocks on the window. And I started to have bad dreams. I told my roommate, but he told me
Screaming,
it was
not
stress from our
laughing.
upcoming midterms. That went on for about 2 weeks. Then one night, everything changed for both of us. I remember it being a Thursday night when this happened. I was asleep in the middle of the night, and all I heard was, Charlie, wake up.
Wake up, you dumb bitch.
I remember making noises and being half asleep, but I acknowledged him. Then he said something that woke me up immediately.
Charlie, what the fuck is that in the corner?
I looked in the corner of the room and I swear there was a silhouette of a girl. I was so
Aw, she's
afraid when I
just
jumped
lost.
off the
She's
top bunk
looking
and I told
for
my
her
roommate to get up and run,
mother.
but he was so petrified. He was under his covers
It's a
quivering.
little girl.
Then she spoke.
Why do you seem so scared? All I wanted to do was play with you.
Ooh. Squeeze.
I told him I'm out and we both ran out of our room.
If I saw that, I would
He
throw a
was yelling
brick.
when she's talking.
I'll throw my
After that,
13-year-old
we were both
sandwich.
so shaken that we never went back to that room.
Fucking eat it.
We called the police.
Grab my
but
way,
they came
eat
and never
it.
found any
Yeah,
girl.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it was because of the house party, Ouija board game, or coincidence, but that was a moment that I'll never forget. To this day,
And straight.
I still hear odd noises throughout the night wherever I go.
Yeah. Alright, we're gonna do
When I
one
was
more.
7 or 8 years old, a man moved to my neighborhood. He was around his 60s and introduced himself to me.
Oh, this
His
is
name
not
is
a
Tom.
petty
He was the
high
only
file.
one who spoke English fluently in our neighborhood,
Oh yeah.
but he always tried to speak our native language. He seemed
What's your
really
native
nice at
language? You
first.
didn't tell me.
One day after school, my friends and I saw a new
Sounds
cafe
like
in
you
our
speak
neighborhood.
English
We were
nice.
curious and wanted to know how many desserts they had. So
Really?
we stopped by and looked inside.
Hello, are you a bakery? Yes. How many how many desserts do you have? Like, what kind of fucking question is that? Like, Jesus Christ.
Then we heard someone say, "Hello, kids."
Wanna touch
He
my
then
asshole?
said, "Come on in. You can have all the desserts you want for free." Without
Ooh.
thinking, we went
Top of that
inside
derple
and stayed
dingle
there for
dingle
2
dingle
hours.
dong. 2
After
hours?
that, we soon stayed there
Jesus,
almost
you
every
fat
day
ass.
after school. Everyone started to like Tom.
And then our parents thought
One
we were
day,
pregnant.
we went to his
but we're
cafe like
just
we
fat
usually
as
did, but for
fuck.
some reason, I felt kind of uncomfortable. Because at some point, I noticed that there were only kids inside his shop.
Cause kids like
Tom came to me
cream.
and said,
Cream
"Hey,
stuff.
I saw you yesterday with a cat. Do you like cats?"
No, bitch.
I said
no.
yes, and he proceeded to talk to me more. He told me that he has 8 cats in his house and showed me pictures of his cats.
God damn.
All of a sudden,
Cat boy.
one of his pictures from inside his wallet fell to the floor. I picked it up, and I could see a girl's face with blonde curly hair and green eyes.
Ooh, damn.
I thought that she was his granddaughter,
That's
but what he
nice.
told me next was a huge shock. He said, "Oh, this is my wife. She lives in London right now." I was confused
Should've said
because
daughter,
the
you
girl
dumb
in the picture was just a kid,
ass.
maybe 14 or 15 years old.
Hell no.
I thought that he was lying or something. Then I got up. "Oh, I forgot. My mom is waiting for me."
Oh,
So
waiting
I
for
quickly
me.
left the shop.
Gotta get the
and went
fuck
back
out, you
home.
creepy ass bitch.
Then I just hugged my mom.
Mommy.
The next day, when I got to school, there were policemen everywhere. I didn't understand what was going on. Then one police officer walked over to me and he said, "Kid, you have to come with us."
Why?
They also called my parents, so we went to the police
I
station
think
together. It turned out that Tom's warrant was served. They found lots of data on his computer about the young girls who were raped by him. He even lied
okay.
about his name. His real name was Hardin. The worst
'Cause he
and
has a
most horrible
Hardin
thing
on
was when
thing.
they entered his room. The entire wall was covered with my pictures.
Yeah, you should be
When they
flattered.
said this to my parents, I was terrified. So I fainted.
God,
The police arrested him.
you know this is a serious
and he
thing,
was
but
put in jail for several years.
yeah,
Now
search
I'm
rape
18 years old,
Whoa.
but I am still
Ho,
afraid.
ho.
According to my neighbors, he's returning to our neighborhood.
Nice.
I don't want to go out, and I don't even know what to do. If anyone has any advice,
It's when
please
you
help me
buy a
and let me know
Glock
what I
17
should do.
with some ammo and shoot some ass. Okay, that's enough. Thank you for that. We will finish this. You don't have to know when I'll finish this. You guys can mind your damn business. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is part 5, I believe. So, yeah. See you fuckers later, bitch. Bitch. Ugly ass. Bitch. Ugly ass. Bitch.